Hi, I'm Micaela Ezra and I'm originally from Sydney, Australia, currently living in New York City. I graduated from the Sydney Design Institute, previously known as East Sydney, in the end of 2005. Following that time, I had the dilemma, do I want to embark on having my own business in Australia and seeing the collection go further, or do I want to garner more business education and work in fashion overseas? And I made the decision that I wanted to see the world and I wanted to have other experiences and learn from different people and different scenarios. And mid-2006, packed my bags and moved to New York City, where I have been since then. I don't know if I was naive or just enthusiastic and optimistic, but I gave myself 3 weeks to find a job in New York. That's the first ticket, that's how long I had, in the middle of 2006. I went to a few different buildings that I knew had multiple designers working in them. One company that I went to is a very well-established American sportswear company named Cynthia Steffi. The head designer there granted me an interview. And during my interview, Cynthia Steffi herself walked in and she looked at my portfolio and she said to me, "You remind me a lot of what I was like at your age. I'd love to give you a position on my design team." And a few days later, she offered me a job. So she sponsored me to come to the US, and that's where my life took a different course. The dress that I have on exhibition at the Powerhouse Museum is actually my own personal wedding dress, and it's probably my favorite and most fulfilling creative project to date. I had the luxury of exploring some very creative processes when I was studying at East Sydney, and developed lace and spent a lot of time exploring textiles and different techniques to create dimension on a surface that covers the body. And during my time working for more commercial companies, a lot of the artistic endeavors, you don't have as much time to explore them. So here I was at a point where I could fulfill this, romantic ideal of how a bride should look, and also explore the processes that I loved. And I was fortunate to collaborate with a very, very talented couture dressmaker in New York City. And I had a very specific vision in my mind for what I wanted the dress to look like. And she helped me execute it in exactly the way that I had imagined. So the dress itself is multi-layered. The first layer, the top layer that you see on exhibition is tulle, and on top of the tulle are layers of bias cut satin, silk satin strips. Each of those strips were specifically engineered to be placed and stitched on the body in the exact position that you see them. So we started by creating a blueprint for the design lines. We created a 3-dimensional map that fitted around my body. And then every single piece of silk was bias cut, pressed, and molded to fit those specific lines on the map. And so what you see today, although every line is measured to perfection and equidistant from one another, it's a handmade process that took many hours of labor and love, and there were many hands that worked on that dress, and the result is, a very serene, almost sculptural looking piece.